entrepreneurship innovation case. Can you confirm your letter?
Si.
I will read the rule in English, I guess. So, for this event, you will have 15 minutes to present your case to the judge. The first 5 minutes of the presentation are considered protected. This means that teams can present without worrying about being interrupted by the judge. During the next 5 minutes, the judges have the opportunity to interrupt the presentation in order to ask questions of clarification on the topic being presented at that time. Judges are reminded that they will be limited to 15 seconds to ask their question. Judges will not be permitted to ask questions on a topic that has already been covered or that has not yet been presented. These questions should be addressed during the question period at the end of the presentation. The last 5 minutes of the presentation will be used to conclude the presentation and is closed to questions. At the end of the presentation, the judges will have a question period of up to 5 minutes. I remind the jury that it is mandatory to ask a question during this period. If at the end of the 5 minutes you have not finished answering the question, you will be stopped. During the presentation, I will indicate the time remaining when 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds will remain using a card, and the last 10 seconds using my finger. The clock in front of you doesn't work, so you really have to look at me to see the time. The judges will be notified of the start and end of the unprotected period by an audible sound, the bell. If your presentation is less than 13 minutes long, a penalty of 1 point will be deducted for every 30 seconds. A team whose presentation is less than 8 minutes in length will be disqualified and will receive an overall score of 0 for their university in that event. If after 15 minutes you have not completed your presentation, you will be stopped in order to conclude the presentation. I remind you that under no circumstances you may mention the origin of your university or you will be penalized. I also remind the audience that it is strictly forbidden to use any electronic device during the presentation, and you will be asked to remain silent until the very end of the question period. Before we begin, I'm going to ask the room to turn off their cell phone and put them on silent mode so as not to interrupt the presentation. I will now ask the judges to introduce themselves, after which you can begin your presentation.
Nice to meet you guys. My name is Patrick Marco Trigiano. I'm the co-founder and CEO of React Technologies.
My name is Patrick Berard. I'm the Executive Director of the Quebec Foundation, the Black Bank, and I'm one of the founders of the JDC Commerce Game.
Hello guys, my name is Pascal Martineau. I'm the manager of the entrepreneurship program at Huge Fusion.
Hello, I'm Hilal Amadash. I'm a co-founder of Équipe Innovation, a startup from smartphone assistant.
Denis Gagnon, co-founder of Connect and Go, wearable technology for entertainment.
As human beings, we spend close to 50% of our lives in the workforce. 50%. It's a pretty big chunk. And to consider that a lot of people still consider themselves unhappy or not particularly satisfied while their time at work is a little bit bizarre. It makes you pose the question, why? It's such a big part of our lives, and we place so much value on not only our time, but our happiness. I'll answer that question with another. What if there was a solution to this? That is the vision that we have for React Technologies and SETTech, and that is why we are here today to present to you. I, along with my colleagues Roman and Abdoulaye, I am Matt, and we are thrilled to be presenting to you, reacting to your workforce.
So, why are we here today? We're here today to lay out the foundation of the strategy of using the $7,750 that you gave us today as funds to allocate to this project. So, how are we going to do this? In doing this, we're going to answer 3 major questions. One, what actually changed from the first presentation we made earlier this morning, and actually how how actually we improve our strategy given the limited fund that we added. 2, how will we market this new product? Basically, how we're gonna segment the market, find the message we're gonna give to each segment of the market, and how we're gonna deliver those messages to them. And finally, what will be the financial implication of those strategy for you today? Without further ado, let's dive into this presentation. So, what is our idea? Think about it for a moment. Canada ranked 4th in the country with the highest turnover rate in the world, globally. And the cost of turnover actually is $18,000 for each person that actually resigned from the work. Our idea today basically was to use our technology and make sure basically we could actually go into a company, monitor the emotion of the employees, and be able to know exactly the things that they want, things that they like, things that actually they don't really like, and use that information to actually prevent them from quitting the company. So we use Retech actually to find jobs that are things that are unsatisfactory in the job and how we can improve that. And also, basically, we provide a report to the HR department that can be used to improve a job situation. So what is the business model? Basically, what we do, every 4 months, basically what we do, we visit the company, and what our team comes with us, we provide the technology to them, and we use that technology on the employees, basically collecting information, know exactly the things that they like, things they don't like, what are the things actually that motivate them to actually work harder. Then, from there, basically, what we do, once we collect all the information, we put in the reports that we give to the HR department, and at the end, we go back to the client to ask them if they really like the things that we've done for them. So, how does it work? As I said before, it costs $18,000 for each employee that resigns from the company, given that the company is a professional service company. So, our technology actually allows you to identify this company, know exactly if they're not happy with their job, and finally, find the reason why, what actually caused those things, and how we can actually solve them. So, what is the target market? Our target market are companies that need us the most. Sorry, your target market are companies that need you the most. So basically, they are small to medium-sized company located in Canada. Basically, they have high turnover rates within the company, and they're looking for ways to improve the situation. They have tried to do many things, but basically it's not working, and that's the reason why our solution is the best thing for them as of now. We identified that there's approximately 50,000 companies in Canada that actually fit this target market. So I'm going to pass the floor to my colleague Matthew to talk about the market.
So as Abdoulaye mentioned, we identified that the professional services industry is our main industry, our market that we believe that you should target with your technologies. But within that, we broke down 2 separate customers or niches that we really believe you can target on an individual basis. The first being small and growing companies, and the next being mature industry, or mature companies rather. We split them up because we believe that their needs in terms of what they need to address with their employees differ staggeringly, so what you need to offer in terms of your presentation to them differs. So first we're going to begin with these small and growing firms. Several of the needs that they have are a will to develop a strong corporate culture. A way that you can do this is using the technology that you have to monitor their engagement and reactions when they're addressed to new traditions and or ideas that you would present to them. That way you can learn what they like and what they don't like in terms of what they really want in terms of the corporate culture that they have. The next would be find what motivates these employees. By using the technology you have to see how they respond and react to different and diverse situations across the workforce that they have, you can see what really drives them and what type of work makes them want to keep going and give that extra mile. And lastly would be what makes work enjoyable for them. Overall, for this, you can monitor all the non-work patterns of this, such as engaging with other employees or having time to talk with the boss about their future career. Stuff like this to see what really drives out one particular employee and what makes them happy there. The key selling point here, with that using the React technology, you can grow your company the right way and know your employees inside out to get the most out of them. The next would be the mature companies. We believe that the message that you would sell to them here is quite different. What mature companies want is to reduce employee turnover. As my colleague Abdullah mentioned earlier, for professional services companies, that's approximately $18,000 per employee. So any way that they can reduce this, they'll want to. The way that React can be used here is to quantify the ability that each employee has on their job, making sure that you're not giving them too much, that you're giving them the right amount of work and the right type of work so that they enjoy their time there. The next would be to reduce absenteeism, which somewhat relates back to their overall happiness at the workplace and what really makes them tick and enjoy themselves there. And lastly, what makes work enjoyable? Just as much as the small and growing companies, work needs to be happy. Everyone needs to enjoy their time there, so you can monitor all the different things such as career trajectory that makes them want to be there and makes them really enjoy coming into work every single day. The message here is different, as I mentioned, to small and growing companies, and that you want to make sure that finding talent from the outside is very costly, and you should rather develop and groom your talent that you have on the inside to make sure that you're getting the most out of your company. So, what exactly does React provide to the clients? The main purpose that it had initially was to reduce focus groups altogether so that you can learn what customers or focus people are thinking without actually asking them. However, a study that we identified by The Guardian said that 37% of people actually lie in focus groups. So that's one of the reasons why React is necessary. And the next is that focus groups are a very timely activity in terms of management resources and as well as just time overall. And that's something that React addresses. Next is, one of the other benefits of React is quantifying the qualitative. And in doing this, you can learn what employees truly themselves may not be able to express in terms of their internal drives, stuff that they can't articulate themselves. And next is determine the internal drivers that their employees have. This is, of course, when applied to the idea that we have in mind. One thing that's not up here is the sustainability aspect of it. Mental health, of course, is gaining worldwide traction. In any way that you can improve the mental health and the happiness of the employee at the workplace, you're employing their sustainability in terms of their career. So we believe that for a variety of ways, React can easily be applied to this particular industry. Now, marketing. We have an idea for a one-off marketing attempt that could really illustrate what your company can do with the technology. It would involve providing services in this applied manner to a company for free for several months. However, there's a catch. The company that we have in mind here is Ronde. It's a Montreal-based consulting firm, just as you are a Montreal-based company, so there'd be no traveling required, and they fit the target market. They're quite small, and they're a consulting professional services company. What we have in mind is that you create a promotional video, illustrating what the company is like before and after they go through the services that you offer. Ultimately, what we would like to do is truly just to provide the world with a little bit of insight of what the React technology can do when applied to the workforce in our idea. Overall, we would promote this video on LinkedIn to raise awareness, and we would find exposure to potential new target clients, such as professional services companies, or employees of those professional services companies, who could then go and talk to their employer about this amazing video that they just saw. This would, of course, be free for Ronde, as long as they agree that all the marketing of this and all the employees of the company are on board with it. So, let's go back to reacting to your workforce. And let's take a look at our implementation at a glance. What we overall are suggesting is that you provide growing and mature professional services companies with a service that addresses their employee needs. And through our 3 phases of hire, acquire, and inspire, we suggest that you use lead generation to gain a client base, launch social media campaign with Ronde, and lastly, launch another social media campaign that truly illustrates the immense power that React has. I'll now pass it off to my colleague Roman, who will walk you through the implementation.
So, in the hiring, well, first of all, you have a great product. It's avant-garde. You want to sell as much as possible, and given our time frame, we don't want to wait. We want to step in and sell as much as possible. So we've upgraded, or rather increased our lead gen sales efforts to $5,000 from the initial $2,000. Basically, we want to outsource lead gen. We want to meet as many clients as possible. We want these warm calls to go well. We want to meet with the client, potentially see what they want. Each client is different, and we want to target a solution specific for them, and eventually, hopefully, close as many as possible. In the acquiring phase are the marketing, essentially. Lots of content needs to be created to show what this is all about. That this is a great Montreal company. This is avant-garde, as mentioned before. This is one of those. This is a change. Without this, this is the pulse of your company, of any future company. This is how you meet your new. This is how you train your customers, rather your employees, and how you maximize the efficiency of every company. And we want to show that without this, there's no possibility to go further. In the inspire phase, we want to create a general awareness. This is an inspirational video, a lot like TED Talks, if I can mention that. We want this to be attributable to every segment. We want everybody to enjoy this video. We want to show how what this technology is capable of changing down the line. This is a core for future business. And we want to illustrate where your company stands and that you are the leader, or one of the leaders here in Montreal and in the world, essentially. And create as much buzz as possible and attract as many customers as possible. I'll pass over.
Thank you, Ryan. So as you can see here, this is the first breakdown of our cost on the left, and the second breakdown of our cost on the right. So the only thing that changed here is that actually we cut down on the total expenses for travel because we're not moving anymore to any other cities. We started here in Montreal, and we put the money back into promotion of the content. Basically, that's what you see here, $1,250. And overall, we use all the funds that you allocated to us, which is $7,750. Next, the financial outlook. As you can see, throughout the course of the 6 months, we will be able to generate $60,000 through this strategy. And of that, our net profit basically is $56,225. So let's look at the financials. So our main revenue drivers are the lead generation. Basically, we put in money on lead generation, and those are where actually we can attract more people to come to do business with us. The first year we're spending overall $1,000, second $2,000, and first month, February we're spending $1,000, April $2,000, and June $2,000. Overall, throughout the year, the over period, basically we make like $90,000 in February, $20,000 in April, and June we make $20,000. The risk and mitigation, I will pass it forward to Raman.
Yeah, thanks. So essentially, the biggest risk is that the company in question that we want to deal with, Normandin, Baudry, is not willing to partner with us, or rather with you guys. And to mitigate that, we're going to pursue other companies potentially in the same sphere. There's quite a lot of them in the city. If not, another risk is higher expected cost per customer acquisition. In that case, we'll probably deal with smaller companies, ones that may will allow us to target the main purchasing power much quicker, and thereby decreasing the price of the lead. And last but not least, if sales still remain stagnant, we'd like to offer potentially limited trial, show the real value of this product. Closing remarks.
So as we take a step back at why we're here today, you came to us with this incredible technology, React. It can effectively read how people respond to their environments. And while you considered retail or shopping, we considered something that where you could truly change an industry. Thank you very much, and we'll now take time for your questions.
Thank you for your presentation. My only question is, I think you answered at the end. You said, if the company, did you think about the privacy risk of, in order to have, you were talking about Normandin, they're not willing to partner. Mm-hmm. And you said propose to other R&D partners. Did you thought about other names of company? You're talking about Normandin, and if it doesn't work, you just others. But did you find other company?
Yes. So R&D Partners is another consulting firm that's based here in Montreal that we considered, and effectively what we wanted to do was smaller professional services companies, and R&D partners is another example. But
Okay.
Normandie Vaudreuil is the first one that we came to mind.
Okay, so why not Monday or why not R&D partners?
So Normandie, they have an established track record in Montreal, but they're small and they're still growing, but they're notable. So we believe that if people saw how you would be able to transform them as a company, it would be a big step in terms of raising awareness of your product.
Thank you.
Can I, go.
If you think about the pricing model, how to sell the device basically, is it one-time payment, recurrent one?
So basically, we have two sort of package for each type of clients. Basically, the first one are the small or the companies actually that are growing really fast, and the other one are for the companies that are sort of mature and they're not growing really fast. For a company that are growing really fast, basically we provide a one-time package to them, which is roughly $5,000 for like the overall year, and if $250 for each time you come to their office, basically. So that's what we offer to the company that grow really fast. And for companies that grow, that are sort of mature and that grow really slow, basically they might need our help more often, and that's the reason why basically we can basically give them a 5,000 package, but sometimes we can also reduce that to for a discount. So basically 4,500 or 4,000.
I have a question. Actually, your strategy is related to the promotion. With Normandie Vaudreuil or other companies. And could you come back to that one? So, and if it doesn't work for the first 6 months, you're still continuing the promotion, but there's no face-to-face relation with any partner. You don't have any phone calls. It's only related to promotion. If the promotion strategy doesn't work, what is the other strategy to be sure that you will implement your strategy?
So perhaps it was flipped over a bit, but direct sales is a big part of this. It was actually in the first pillar of our strategy, where we look to outsource a lot of lead generation, and that's a big part of the cost drivers for us. However, we intend to use those for you to suggest face-to-face, because we believe that if you're using the sales techniques and the selling messages that we provided earlier, they'll come much better face-to-face.
Thanks.
All right, thank you guys.